If you spend any time in Reddit or forums asking about Proxmox storage, you will inevitably get someone telling you, just use Ceph. And I understand why. Ceph is powerful, it is what many big deployments use, and it sounds like the right answer if you want high availability. But for most small deployments running 2 or 3 nodes, I think that advice is setting people up for unnecessary complexity and a harder time when something goes wrong at 2 a.m. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what Ceph actually requires to be run properly and make the case for why ZFS is the better choice for the majority of small clusters. Before we dive into the details, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Meter. This video is sponsored by Meter, the company bringing you full stack networks from the ground up. Meter delivers a complete networking stack, wired, wireless, and cellular, all in one integrated solution. They design the hardware, they write the firmware, and they build software that can handle, deploy, and run support. For network engineers, that means deep control, real visibility, and fewer fragmented tools, without juggling multiple vendors or inflexible legacy providers. Whether it's a branch office, warehouse, campus, or data center, Meter is built to scale, and Meter is built for uptime. Thanks to Meter for sponsoring this video. Go to meter.com/LawrenceSystems to book a demo now. That's meter.com/LawrenceSystems to book a demo today. Now, I want to make it very clear, I am not anti-Ceph, but I am very pro people understanding the requirements before they set things up. I believe the forum posts where people just recommend use Ceph, it's a simple solution, are, well, sometimes misguided, but well-intended. They may not have the structural experience of what these things look like deployed in real-world, high-volume, high-traffic setups, or maybe they're not familiar with the challenges that can come with an update, or they just blow things away as they have good backups and like rebuilding things. I don't always know the context by which people are recommending this, but as someone who has to build and support infrastructure for clients, and I have worked with Ceph clusters, I have worked with ZFS setups, I want to make sure I'm very clear that I look for the minimum tech requirements and not more, as in I don't build overly complicated solutions where it's not needed. So let's talk about the complexity and needs that Ceph requires, because these are non-negotiables here when I say what Ceph actually requires. Ceph is a distributed storage system, which means it's designed from the ground up to spread data across multiple nodes simultaneously. This is a genuine strength to scale, but comes with the real infrastructure requirements that are easy to underestimate. For a Ceph cluster to run correctly, you need a minimum of 3 nodes for proper quorum. Probably recommend 5 for any larger systems, and maybe even more depending on your actual needs. But 3 is a real minimum here for high availability and setting up proper quorum with Ceph across your Proxmox high availability cluster. With the default replication factor of 3, every write has to be confirmed across 3 nodes before it's acknowledged. That means your storage performance is directly tied to the latency between the nodes. A dedicated low latency storage network is not optional, it is a requirement. That means dedicated NICs on every node and a separate switch for Ceph traffic. If you're running Ceph on the same network as your VM traffic, you're going to have a bad time. Each node also needs to run multiple daemons. At a minimum, you're looking at a monitor daemon per cluster quorum, a manager daemon, and 1 OSD object storage daemon per drive. All these need to be healthy for the cluster to function normally. When a node goes down, the remaining nodes immediately begin rebalancing data, which puts significant load on your network and remaining drives. If a second node goes down during that recovery window on a 3-node cluster, you lose quorum and storage goes offline entirely. And this is not easy to recover from. It's hard to break Ceph, but when it breaks, it also can be harder to fix it without a lot of experience. And for further reading, check out the Proxmox Ceph docs. They're really good and say everything I said and a lot more. Now let's go over what this cluster might look like. So we have node 1, node 2, node 3. Each one has drive 1s through 4 with OSD 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This gives us enough replication so we can lose a node and it would be all replicated, and the high availability that you're looking for. If a node fails, the VMs have replicated copies on the other nodes so they can instantly start back up, and that's awesome. Definitely works quite well. It's a well-proven technology with Proxmox and it orchestrates very well. But please note, the OSD replication low latency network. This is a separate network and switch that you're going to need to have Ceph set up. This is also in the Proxmox docs. They say to do this as well. You're also tied to, as I mentioned in the requirements, that each write needs to be synchronized across all the nodes. If you have write-intensive applications, such as a database, and you're writing to those nodes, they have to sync each time. So you have an instant bottleneck. You also, and Proxmox docs goes into this as well, need to calculate that doing this calculation is going to have CPU load to manage Ceph across each of these nodes. So there's a lot of compounding factors here that lead to performance degradation, especially on writes. Now, reads are a lot easier because the data is there. We're just going to pull and read from it. We're not synchronizing reads. We're only synchronizing the writes. So you still get the read performance. But if you have high intensity write needs, well, you're going to have a hard time getting them with Proxmox and Ceph unless you have really good hardware, really fast networking, and really good drives to support all of this. That's where you're going to get your high-end performance from. Let's go over and look at the ZFS setup instead. What ZFS gives you instead is ZFS operates at the individual node level. Each node manages its own pool independently. You get checksumming and automatic data integrity, verification, compression, snapshots, and the ability to send incremental snapshots to another node using ZFS send. It's all built into Proxmox. The last part is how you get off-node copies with shared infrastructure. Proxmox has the native ZFS replication built into the UI that handles this simply and reliably. So even though each node's independent, you can take the nodes and say ZFS replicate this particular VM over to another Proxmox at an interval. Obviously, this is not real-time synchronization. You get that with Ceph, but that comes at the cost of the write performance. Versus if you're saying, I want every 15 minutes or 10 minutes or some predefined time that matches what your risk tolerance is, you can have the system synchronizing it on another system. That means if you lose it, only the differences between the last synchronization are what was lost. And it may be perfectly fine. Obviously, it's not the same and it's not as nice as the real-time synchronization you get with Ceph, but for a lot of scenarios, you'll probably find this to be completely adequate. When a ZFS node has a problem, that problem stays on that node. Your other nodes will keep running. Recovery is well documented. The tooling is straightforward, and you do not need deep expertise in a complex distributed system to get yourself back to a healthy state because you're not bringing nodes back into quorum. You're simply fixing the node that was having a problem with that particular ZFS storage pool or that particular node that was just having a problem in general. The trade-off is that ZFS is not shared storage, so this is not a high availability setup. VMs are tied to the node they live on, and live migration requires you to move the disk SL, which takes time. For most small cluster setups, that is an acceptable trade-off given what you get in return. Obviously, you can start the VM based on that replication task that was running, so if the node completely goes away, you're not going to be able to live migrate it because something has gone wrong with that node, and you would just start it up, and whatever that delta is between the last time it was replicated and now, well, that's the amount of data that was lost. If it's a quick replication setup, well, there's not too much data loss, and maybe that's an acceptable risk. But what about an alternative high availability approach? Well, you can do that with a dedicated storage server. Dedicated storage server gives you a middle ground that neither ZFS local storage nor Ceph offers at small scale. All three nodes mount the same storage, so a VM is not tied to the node it started on. Live migration is nearly instant because the disks do not move, only the running state transfer between the nodes. If a compute node goes down, any VM can be restarted on another node in seconds. You are writing to one server over a dedicated storage network rather than coordinating writes across the cluster, so there's no cross-node acknowledgement in the write path. This gives you much better write performance. And the same thing I showed with each of these. Whether you're on ZFS running a bunch of local drives, I still recommend that shared storage. And you definitely want a dedicated shared storage network between all the nodes when you're running a dedicated storage server. TrueNAS being a really popular option, but I've talked about Synology as well. Both of these are companies that offer hardware that has full redundancy as well because you can get dual controller models for HA setups. Now, there's other companies offering as well. I'm just mentioning ones that I have talked about on this channel, but it is another often more budget-friendly alternative. And the reason I say more budget-friendly is because if you are in the need for really high-end write performance, you would want, in the case of Ceph, those same high-end drives to be duplicated across every node. So every one of them is the same. So you have very uniform performance without any bottleneck versus you only have to buy the drives once for your dedicated storage server. So you can buy one set, not multiple sets of high performance drives. Now, granted, all the nodes are going to be talking to this, so it may have to be a little bit higher performance than the individual nodes, but this can add up quickly, especially here in April of 2026 when there's a price crunch going on for a lot of the hardware that we have to buy. So this may be a more budget-friendly approach to achieve HA. Now, I want to be clear that I didn't make this video to tell you what to do. My goal is to give you the facts combined with my real-world experience building and maintaining solutions so you can make an informed decision about your specific situation. There is a link down in the description below to the forum post I was reading from. Feel free to join my forums if you'd like to have a more in-depth discussion about this or other topics, or you can connect with me on the socials via launchsystems.com. All right, and thanks.